Hey, guys, let's go. You know, when you're in that moment, winning 3 Super Bowls, 4 years, and you don't realize what you're doing. You're just in the moment. But then when you look back, you want every opportunity you can to revisit those moments. This is a huge and bigger moment for the Cowboy fans. You know, to have Emmitt go in, it's all mind-boggling, fascinating, overwhelming, and wow. All of that stuff put together. It's all of it, man, and I am just excited to see it happen. I really am. And I know how excited this is for Troy. And hopefully we can prepare Emmitt for what he's about to go through. Well,
the three of us getting a chance to visit about what each other meant to each of our successes, and we hear a lot of people weigh in on our careers and what we meant to each other, but it's always interesting when we talk to each other, you know, about it. And, those are special guys.
Oh, this is a perfect elevator. Did y'all see the elevator? Don't shoot the elevator, man. This is the perfect elevator.
When you start thinking about what we've all been able to do collectively, it makes you feel good, because not only did I play football with some great football players, I played football with some great people. Just talking about my teammates and what they really meant to my career, it's an emotional thing, because I play with great people, and that's all I can ask of.
August 7th, 2010, in Canton, Ohio. Emmitt Smith will be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Joining Troy Aikman.
I enjoyed the best seat in the house as I watched Emmitt Smith run his way to the NFL's all-time rushing record.
And Michael Irvin.
I played and worked with some of the best to ever be around this game.
The Triplets reunited again, this time in bronze. With 3 consecutive drafts. First in 1988, passion. 1989, class. Then in 1990, determination. A real dynasty in Dallas was born.
Showtime. Aikman back, he throws it out, left corner of the end zone, he caught it! Cut to the right, cut to the left. Oh, no! It couldn't have been thrown any better. Irvin breaks free, Michael Irvin scores! Emmitt Smith breaking a tackle. Throws it in the end zone to Irvin for a touchdown. Oh, he's still going. It's unbelievable. Thank you very much yet again.
3 Hall of Famers winning 3 rings together as a trio. First in Dallas, now in Canton. Great times 3. Forever tied as 1.
Guys, fantastic moments right there. We get to reminisce about an experience, but it didn't all start that way. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the very beginning, and I guess that would be my draft.
That's you.
That would be my draft.
That would be you. That's all you said. So Troy and I, we remove ourselves and let you talk about yourself.
Well,
my beginning. It started getting better when we got Emmitt.
That's what I said. And my thought was, though, you know, and I see it every year during the draft, right? They show that picture of me and say, Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I showed my ignorance.
Danny White, all pro, because he's dealing with the playmaker.
You know, at this level, you need way more than one guy to go to the Super Bowl. Let's go to your beginnings, Troy. Your draft.
Well, I mean, I was excited about it because it was close to where I'd grown up in Oklahoma, but we weren't getting a lot of people to our games. They were the worst team in the league the year before, your rookie year. And let me also add that all 3 of us, our rookie season, we had losing records, okay? Then in 91, when we had the winning record, went 11-5, and made it to the playoffs, boy, then you started to get a good idea as to what this whole history and the aura of the Dallas Cowboys was all about.
Emmitt, how did you see your beginning?
Well, you know, when I got drafted by the Cowboys, I didn't think about the 1-15 season. I didn't think about how bad supposedly the Cowboys were. And I'd never forget, before I got on the plane to come to Dallas that day after the draft, the day of the draft, my father turned to me and said, y'all gonna be a very good team. You're gonna make them a better football team because you got a great quarterback. He was talking about you at the time. You got wide receivers and you got big guys in front. He said, you're gonna make them better. And that was it. I didn't think about it at all. I just knew, I came in like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready. I think we're going to win. That was the only thing I was thinking about was winning.
I remember saying, at my first year, I need one player. Then we get Troy the next year. I was like, I got him. This is all I need. Of course, we lost a lot of games that year. And then I'm looking at the draft like we need some players, and who are they going to get? They draft you, Emmitt, and all I remember was seeing you play against Alabama. And I remember you had 240 yards, but I was like, how are they letting him run for 200 yards? He's not moving. He's not moving. And I thought I was already slow. We needed some speed. But when you got here, like Troy said, everything started turning around.
Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson together built a talented and deep team through one brilliant trade and destiny-changing drafts. Then in 1991, Jimmy Johnson hired Norv Turner. All the pieces were now in place for a dynasty.
When Norv Turner came, oh my gosh. It was like, oh man. They just sent us the Messiah. I mean, we good. We got a game planner, we got a orchestrator, we got a coordinator that found the right mix. He found the right mix in terms of passing, running, all the things that we needed to do in order for us to become a very good team.
He's also great at knowing what to bring, how to bring the best out of everybody. You know, he got with Troy and said, this is what we're going to do. He got with me alone and said, Michael, you said to me exactly what I needed. You're plenty fast enough. And that's what I needed to hear to get over the hump.
What's amazing, as I've always said, is he was only with us, you know, you think of how long each of our careers were, he was only with us for 3 years. And yet, what an impact, you know, he made. And when it ended, and then when we moved on, we all look back and say, wow, that's hard to replicate. You know, and those were pretty special years that you can be in this business a long, long time and never quite have what we had. And that's what makes it so fun.
Later, on Emmitt Smith's road to Canton, the Triplets talk about being together again, this time forever, in Canton, Ohio. And coming up next, Emmitt explains how special the Dallas Star is and the respect it demands.
That star is something to behold. That's something you have to protect.
This is it, baby. Irvin jumping, catching the three, diving, touchdown. Oh, what a play. Aikman draw to Smith. Tackle the breaks away, touchdown, Emmitt Smith.
And the Dallas Cowboys lay claim to being the team of the 90s.
As I sit here, I'm looking around, I look at different personalities, 3 different personalities. Right. But, you know, Troy, you've always been our leader. As a quarterback, you are the leader, and you've held that role well.
Hey, guys, that's a embarrassment out there. That's a damn embarrassment.
How did it work with the 3 different personalities?
Yeah, you know, I think that's what allowed us to have the success that we were able to have. I think that our blend of personalities just allowed us to work together and not get caught up in a lot of that. I mean, we were all, and not just us 3, but we had a collection of guys on our team that were highly motivated and driven to be great. And I think that was the common thread amongst all of us, that the rest of it, I didn't care. I mean, you know, whatever you were doing on the field and first downs and, you know, the flamboyancy, that was great. It was great energy for our team. And, you know, and Emmitt and his style and what he did running the football for us, and we all got a piece of the pie in our own way that was enough. And I can honestly say I don't ever remember walking away feeling resentful about anyone or anything that was going on during our years of success. I think we were always able to look at it and say, you know, individually we weren't much, and together we've been really good.
The whole name of the game is truly team. And that's just the way I was raised and brought up through high school, and even from my household standpoint, was being a collective group. And I've always tried to take that atmosphere of what we had in high school with me, no matter where it was. Building that chemistry, building that team. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. I'm gonna protect you at all costs. Are you fat and happy on the hog? Are you satisfied with 3 Super Bowls? Are we all satisfied? Have we lost our hunger? Have we lost our drive to continue this journey? And to me, that's what it was all about. A lot of players inherited that star. They didn't earn it. They just inherited. And I wanted guys to understand that that star is something to behold. That's something you have to protect. It's precious. And you don't just walk in and say, I'm a Dallas Cowboy. You have to earn the right to become a Dallas Cowboy. And the only way you do that is by performing like these guys that come before you.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you don't deserve to be here. That's just the way I felt about it.
Next, on Emmitt Smith's road to Canton, the Triplets reflect back to January the 2nd, 1994, when number 22 played his signature game en route to a second straight championship.
2 in a row. How sweet it is.
Something happened in my shoulder that I never felt before.
Smith is down. Emmitt Smith is down.
And every time I got hit, every time I hit the turf, tears are rolling down my eyes. I'm just trying to convince myself there's no pain.
They'll never forget the day Emmitt Smith ran 32 times for 170 yards and did most of it with one arm.
It was a critical game. It was going to, basically determine who was going to win the Super Bowl, because, here it was a regular season game, but whoever won that game won the NFC East and was going to get a first-round bye and home field advantage. So there was a lot at stake. I thought it'd be a hard game, but I didn't expect it to be what it was. And we were all of a sudden in a dogfight. And as great as he ran the ball that day, he had a ton of catches. I mean, he was a big part of the passing game that day in helping us move the chains. And I knew he was hurt. I don't know that I knew how badly he was hurt, which is really a testament to him, because I see it now. I didn't have the privilege of seeing him going off to the sidelines, after a run or something, and seeing how much pain he was in. I'm just looking around saying, hey, when are we getting Emmitt back on the field? Let's go. Hey, Emmitt, come on, let's go. I thought it was a great performance, but little did I know that we would look back, here 15 years later and say, yeah, that was his signature game, and he played through injury, and he had to do it throughout his career in order to become the all-time rushing leader.
I walked in that locker room that day. You remember you were in the training room. They were looking after you after the game. You just leaned over, and I came into you, and I looked at you, and I said, hey, thanks, man. Thanks. When I told you, I just need you standing back there. I really just wanted you to stand back there. I wanted you to throw me all the balls so I could win the game.
I thought that's exactly what was going to happen.
That's all I wanted.
thought they were going to change the game plan and have me back there as a decoy and then start throwing the football. Nah, that didn't happen. They kept calling my number. I was like, man, they call what? Do they not realize? And I would never forget my cousins when we used to play in the park. They used to, you know how it is when you're 7, 8 years old, getting knocked down, you get scars. Sometimes you see kids crying because they get scarred. Suck it up. Suck it up. You can't play the game if you can't play the pain. They used to say that all the time. And so I had to draw on those moments. I was in the huddle saying in my mind, you can't play the game if you can't play the pain. I just kept saying it over and over, even though you was in this ear saying, you can't get out the game, you can't get out the game, stay in the game. And Troy looking at me saying, you all right? Tear running out my eyes. I'm like, yeah. So it was one of those things. And plus, I knew the importance of the game. And I didn't want to let nobody down. Anytime somebody say, hey, I need you, you got to put your pride to the side and your pain to the side and say, okay, I give you what I can give you. And I gave you everything I could possibly give you. And I'm just glad that it worked out, because we'd have lost, I would have been able to give you anymore.
You know what, man? Not wanting to let anybody down is how I saw that. When I walked in that locker room and you were bent over and they were working on the shoulder, and I looked at you and we both started crying. Because I think we both understood the magnitude of that moment, how big it was, like you talked about, Troy. We both just started crying, and I said, thank you. I said, thank you for giving us that moment.
By the mid-90s, the pounding of being an NFL running back was taking its toll as Emmitt was approaching age 30. There were whispers that the end was near.
I remember you in the steam room, Emmitt. I remember in the steam room, they had been getting on you pretty good about, hey, maybe Emmitt has lost a step. And I'm sitting in the steam room as we do, after practice. I'm sitting there sweating out. Emmitt comes in with his head down, and he sits with me. I say, man, he didn't say anything. I said, what's up? I said, what are you quiet for? And I had been reading everything in the paper, too. He says, I don't know, man. He says, you think I can still play? You remember that conversation? I said, what do you mean? I said, Emmitt, at the time, Walter Payton and I think Barry Sanders were in front of you. Right. I said, Walter Payton, he's gone. Barry Sanders. I said, unless one of them tell you you've lost it, don't listen to anything anybody else is saying. I said, wait a minute. Because you're reading guys that are writing about it, not guys that have played it, and certainly guys that have done
That was a
what
year
you
that
did.
they said I was running on empty. It was a year I had an ankle, I had a hammy, I had all kinds of junk going on. And so it was piling up on me big time.
Emmitt Smith looks like he's hurt over there.
My goodness. They are still looking and working on Emmitt Smith, who has not gotten up in any fashion.
And it wasn't my best year. And they were riding me hard. There's nothing worse than having somebody ride you where they don't even know what's really going on with you. and that was a tough deal to get through. But, you know, you was there to help me, pick me up, and keep my spirits going.
Next, on Emmitt Smith's road to Canton, the NFL's all-time rushing leader gets ready to join his fellow triplets in bronze.
I always took great pride in being a part of the triplets with Michael and Emmitt. It's no wonder we enjoyed so much success in the 90s, considering all the talent we had.
You know, I have experienced all this game has to offer on the football field. So don't tell me it's just a game. That's what a Hall of Famer is.
The Cowboys were the team of the 90s, and just like the team of the 70s, the Steelers. Canton again welcomes the quarterback, the wide receiver, and now the running back.
I look at us and saying God meant for all three of us to be together. I'm serious. I mean, I cannot think about it in any other fashion than my freshman year. I'm down in Miami playing against Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin and the whole flamboyant Miami team. And then my same freshman year, we go out to Hawaii, we play against UCLA, and you're the quarterback. So now how crazy is this? Yeah. Now, 3 years later, you get drafted first in '88, you come in '89, and then I fall in '90. I mean, like, boom. I mean, it couldn't get any better than that. And I'm like, yes, this is it. And so, spiritually, I'm saying to myself, this was divine. This was it. This was our moment. This was our time.
Now, we've had great moments together, and we've all gotten to know each other well. Determination is what this man was about. That day in our hotel when we were roommates your rookie year, and I said, what do you want to do in this league? And you say to me, we're going to win Super Bowls, but I'm going to become the all-time leading rusher. I remember grabbing my conversation. Go to sleep. He's a young rookie. He doesn't know anything. What does he know?
You know, I think determination, as you said, is a great word. I'd probably add in there, you know, stubbornness, and I mean that in a very positive, complimentary way. That, you know, Emmitt was a stubborn guy, and stubborn in that he wasn't gonna be told that he was too small. He wasn't gonna be told that he wasn't fast enough. You know, he was stubborn enough to say, you know, I'm gonna be a great player. There's been a lot of players that have come before Emmitt and that are currently playing that the measurables, you'd say, well, they're better players, better athletes. I think it was his stubbornness and probably something that he was told throughout his whole upbringing, that he was too small or too slow to do this or do that, and he proved everybody wrong, and he's continued to prove them wrong right through his NFL career and then beyond.
Are you prepared for this?
I think so. I had two great leaders. What you talking about? I witnessed a lot. That's the good part about being the youngest. I get to soak it all up.
You and I are already in the hall. We're here because the final, our brother Emmitt is about to go in the hall. What advice do you give him?
When I went back the next year, John Madden was in my class, and he and I were visiting there at the Nitschke Luncheon, and I said, you know, John, I said, last year, I said, everybody kept saying, come back the following year. You know, when you get a chance to decompress, because you're getting pulled in so many different directions when you go in, you'll be able to really enjoy it. I said, you know, I really enjoyed going in. You know, I mean, I really enjoyed that year. I mean, I will tell you this. I enjoyed going in more than I've enjoyed just going back, you know. And so I think, one, just enjoy it. I mean, it's a celebration of a great career, and you're getting a chance to do that with so many people that have impacted your career. Think of those high school coaches and those Pop Warner coaches and the family and the cousins and all the people who really supported you before anyone knew you were going to be, you know, a professional football player. You know, that number one. And then two, I would say it's all right to cry. You know, it's all right to get emotional.
I know. I saw you get
because
it's
going to happen. And like you said, you used to, when you were a kid, you get hurt, you can get emotional, you can lay it out by hitting somebody else. I can get rid of it. But up there on that podium, There's nothing but a microphone. And you got to enjoy it. But, E, I tell you this, man. When you're sitting that night, when they hand you that jacket, and you're sitting on that stage, and every Hall of Famer walks up to you and say, welcome. You'll see all the guys that you've admired for years, the guys that you look at and say, wow, I want to be just like him. Guys that built this league coming up to you to say welcome. It was like, wow. I know, there's no way I deserve to be here, but wow, am I going to enjoy this? And I'm telling you, you will enjoy that. And enjoy it well, man, because it doesn't happen often.
Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmitt Smith. 3 Hall of Fame careers intertwined together in one story.
Guys, we cannot write our stories without each other.
It's true.
And I like it that way, man.
I love it that way.
We're blessed to have had the moments we've had.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it.
I enjoyed playing with all of you. It's been great. 3 rings, 3 triplets, however you want to call it. It's all good.
Once upon a time, there was a little running back that could. His story began in Pensacola, Florida, and turned into a football fairy tale.
Pitch left to Smith. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith. Breaks away to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith. Oh, what a run.
They said he was too small. They said he was too slow. What they didn't realize was the incredible size of his heart.
They'll never forget the day Emmitt Smith ran for 170 yards and did most of it with one arm.
And that their doubts merely made him hungry. At times relying on artistry, at times on brute force. Emmitt Smith proved them wrong over and over again, galvanizing an NFL dynasty to 3 Super Bowl titles and chasing down one of the most hallowed records in the game.
Move over, Sweetness. Make a place for Emmitt.
Once upon a time, there was a little running back that could. Now and forever, his legend is secure in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.